did you put the link in the chat, Steve?
Yep.
All right. Okay, let's get this done then. Go ahead and sign in.
Let me record it, or you
I
already
already did. I'm on top of that today.
Okay.
All right, so let's just go quickly through this. It's 8:02. This is the Ortelius outreach meeting for the first Monday of February 2nd, 2021. So in terms of what we're focused on right now is the Blog-A-Thon. So all of you out there who are interested in having some thought leadership or interested in getting some blogs published, we are working on a Blog-A-Thon. It is officially starting today. I was supposed to send an email out to everybody and I totally spaced and forgot. I will do that today, I promise, to make sure that it goes out. And it will also be, I'll start pushing it out through the CD Foundation, through their social networking. But I believe we are all set to do that.
Which is off the blogs is the rules.
If you go to the events page, there's a link to the blog that I wrote. It's a news blog. If you want to show that, I think we showed it in the community meeting last week. So if you want to just put the link in here.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do.
There are two other types of speaking engagements you can get involved in. I am running the CI/CD track for DevOps Online Summit. And if I recall last year, it's a really interesting way to do a presentation at DevOps Online Summit. It's all Slack-based. You come up with a topic and you'll come up with some, I believe the way he did it last time, some questions, and he can do like an interview style, but I would, anybody interested, since I'm running the track, anybody interested in doing a presentation on any topic, you've got a good chance of getting in. CDCon is also out there. Sasha, I really want you to present something. And if anybody who wants to present something in any of these and wants to collaborate or do need some help on it, let me know. I think that we could also do a panel for CDCon. You know, maybe the panel can be on something on the ballpark of what it takes to get a open source community started at the CDF. I know that they're trying very hard to get more open source communities to come on board. So we could talk about that. I think that we need to get, I think we're looking at this month, I think March 5th may be the last day to submit for CDCon, and CDCon is in June. DevOps Online Summit is in April, the end of April. So let's get some of your, let's get some fame here. We got a good team. And Neetu and Tatiana, if you guys want to do a, you know, a presentation together on building personas for the Ortelius open source community, I'm sure that would go over really, really well at the CDCon. So I encourage you guys to do that.
Yeah, that one's been, there's been a lot of talk in other working groups about the personas.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I think that would be something both Tatiana and I would love to. I just checked with her on LinkedIn and she was into as well.
So why don't you start with a blog on that?
Okay.
For the Blog-A-Thon.
Yeah. Okay.
And from the Blog-A-Thon, we can begin, you know, then we can morph that into a CDCon presentation.
Okay. Yeah, that works. Is that something that would be relevant for DevOps Online Summit too? Could we use the same or should we do different?
So it's not, so it's relevant, but not through my, it could be relevant. You could propose that to, and I think it would go over quite well, propose that to Brian Dawson, because he's doing the kind of the people and cultures of DevOps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm running the CI/CD track, so it wouldn't fit in my track, but I'm sure Brian Dawson would be excited to see that submitted. So why don't you guys, let's get the blog done. I think that the DevOps Online Summit that we have to have in by the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have to get something in. All you need to do is a bit of a paragraph, a bit of a paragraph, and have one of you submit it as a panel, and submit it under. Let me look.
We have very few people for a panel, so I don't know if that would
Well,
work.
just the two of you is fine. The two of
Okay.
you would be fine. If you're gonna co-author the blog,
Mm-hmm.
how you built how you define the Ortelius open source community. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that in an interview experience that Tom Hendrickson, who does the interviews, we could give him work on a set of questions and he could ask how you guys came up with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good.
And that may be the same kind of thing we do for June as well.
Yeah, so I'm thinking there are two types of persona. One is the DevOps persona, which is probably relevant to DevOps Summit as well. And then the other aspect is open source personas. Open source personas are relevant to pretty much everybody open source, right?
Yes, but there's still a particular kind of person. We look for people who are passionate around DevOps.
Yes.
But both of those, and if you think that we need another person, maybe Prijat still is active. She's done some editing. She
Mm-hmm.
could be a third person, and then we'd have a panel of women representing Ortelius, and that would be pretty cool.
Sounds good.
So,
Okay.
Neetu, could you reach out to her and ask her if she'd be interested in helping with, with that
I'll do that.
particular topic?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just come up with we'll have to have somebody moderate. I can moderate, or we could potentially get somebody else to moderate. I can find a moderator.
Okay. I reached out to somebody in X-Ray, like JFrog company, who's a product manager and who manages the open source community of JFrog. So I'm supposed to meet him as well. So I'll ask him if he's interested in joining the panel because I mailed a couple of people and I think one from Harness as well. So I'll ask Parijat, I'll ask Tiffany, and I think his name was Dave. So I'll
Yes.
ask.
So Tiffany, I don't know if Tiffany would be the right person.
Okay.
We could ask Tiffany if she would want to be a moderator.
Okay. Sounds good.
She has moderated panels before.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
So let's see if Tiffany wants to be a moderator. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And then the three of you, and if I think Parijat will do it. If not, I'll sit in. That'll be three women interviewed by a woman would be great. So yeah, let's try to pull that together for the panel discussion for CDCon. That doesn't need to happen that big for a DevOps Online Summit. Really, the two of you guys could just be interviewed by Tom Hendrickson. I think that would work.
Okay, sounds good.
Go ahead and submit it under Brian Dawson. And then I'll let Brian Dawson know that you guys submitted and encourage him to add it.
Okay, thank you.
And at least I know with the DevOps Online Summit, that one is pre-recorded, right? And then he plays it, and then you're on the Slack.
Yeah, and then you're just
kind of answering questions.
Everything is pre-recorded right now. All of these are pre-recorded.
Oh, so CDCon's pre-recorded too?
Yep.
Nice.
All of it's pre-recorded.
That makes it easy. You can go edit anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, you can come up with a time that works for everybody, and it does work out.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to think if I have anything intelligent to say.
You do. Do something on, you know what? We need more technical blogs on Ortelius. Take one topic up. Take domains. You'll learn about domains better if you sit and you put your head into it and to write something up. Because domains are critical when you really start decomposing your application and trying to figure out how you categorize them. And you can build out, there's some really interesting things on microservices.io.
We were just talking about that last week.
Yeah, there's a whole topic on decomposing your applications, they have like a grid that how you decompose the grid. They call it cube something. I can't remember now. You decompose it into what would be how a load balancer would fit in, what needs to be written, so you can kind of define your high level infrastructure as well as decompose your individual applications. Let me see if I can find something on decomposing. Yeah, it's under his, and he's got this book, Microservice Patterns. I really need to read it. Well, if I find it, I will, Sasha, I will send it over to you. Because this is an area that people are starting to struggle with. When they start having to really see their environment as individual, objects being deployed independently, they do tend to get a bit kind of a cluster, so to speak.
And I was talking to Karam, and I don't think he's on. Oh yeah, about the visualization of the relationships in Ortelius.
That is for GSOC, right?
No, that's going to be for the, it's part of GSOC, but also we're going to bring that into one of the blogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it. Yeah, so it would be nice to connect. So once the blog is up, I'll link it to the issue so that when a student is taking up, they have something to read about.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what our thought was.
Okay, awesome.
And then the last thing I think that I know of that's on my list is I'm going to start working on bringing the website that Owen has, the skeleton in place, and bring that over and get it deployed into our Kubernetes cluster. So if anybody's interested, I'll bring this up on the architecture meeting as well. If anybody wants to dive into deployments to Azure, let me know.
Okay, so I just posted, it's called the Scale Cube. So in microservices.io, he talks about domains and the ability to scale and how you put the two together. So I'm sure there's some interesting thought leadership around both a domain architecture and understanding the scale cube and decomposing by function. So I just stuck that in there for you, Sasha.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking it out.
And then he has a whole section on domain-driven design too.
Oh, cool.
There's
This
a lot
is a
of
great website.
There's a lot of information out there about domain-driven design. So if you just do a search on that, microservices.io, I think comes up with their area.
Okay.
There's a bunch of stuff on even in Wikipedia on that. Martin Fowler's written about it. So those are two areas that I think that we can show some of, if you're doing that kind of design work, how you can incorporate that into the domain structure of Ortelius. And it's kind of the core of the catalog. The other stuff that we can write about is GitOps. Now, we're not ever going to be a true GitOps tool because part of the point of Ortelius is to minimize the amount of scripting that you do. And GitOps really requires a lot of scripting. You have a YAML file basically for all your microservices, and then they're duplicated based on who's using them because they're checked into their environment repository. So every application has an environment repository and everybody reuses that. Think about an environment repository in Ortelius is how you package your application, and every single microservice would then have a YAML file represented in that environment repository, and the GitOps operator checks against the environment repository and the cluster. Each cluster would have one, and each cluster has to have their own environment repository to determine the state. And it ends up being a lot of little pieces and a lot of scripts. Like literally, you could have thousands of scripts. Now, the beauty of GitOps is that you don't have to have an external tool like an application release automation tool to track a change. That kind of puts a guardrail around a script, but it doesn't do any backtracking of an inventory, and all the critical data is in all these scripts, and so you'd have to start trying to harvest the data out of Git in order to actually see what's going on, which is in essence what I believe Argo CD is trying to do in some way. So trying to simplify it, but I think their scaling issue is what drove those application sets. So a topic around the application sets and the components and that kind of issue would be a really amazing blog. So if anybody out there wants to work on that with me, I'm happy to do that as well.
Yeah, on that one, I'm going to put together the Argo CD documentation around application sets, and I think that's going to touch on the GitOps piece as well. So I think we can expand that from the application set and what's happening on that front over to what we're running into with the GitOps side.
And both Gonda and Natch, you guys are perfect candidates to write a blog on any topic around, getting started in the Ortelius open source community, what your experience was. And that's literally all you would have to write for those.
Well, I was thinking that I'm trying to avoid writing, not because I don't like writing, but because if I can do something that contributes that doesn't involve my hands on a keyboard, which I know is really weird for a computer person to say, that would be a much easier thing for me to do than offer to type.
Right, so something that minimizes the
and so what I did think of while you guys were talking was I could be I want to say the perfect, not because I think it's perfect, because I think it's funny. I would be the perfect geek to try and explain any of these concepts to, because honestly, I don't even know what you mean when you say microservices. Like, I'm just rolling with laughter on the side here. So talking about something that can be recorded and something that, involves how your brain works through it, but doesn't involve typing, I'd be up to that.
Yeah,
I'm just putting it out there.
So any video you want to do is fine. You will need to do a summary of a video, like a 300-word summary.
Well, I was thinking more, I'm minimizing my effort here very much, along the lines of somebody who actually knows what it is, trying to explain to somebody who doesn't have a freaking clue, being me. That would be fun for me, and I could do that without, violating any don't touch the keyboard rules. So
sure, yeah. If you want to do a video around that, that would be totally fun.
Yeah. So that's as far as I can form a sentence with the word Ortelius in it. Even is challenging, but yeah, that's what's come to mind so far.
Perfect.
I have no idea which any of these forums and stuff you're talking about and where that would fit in and when. I'm not thinking I'm going to do it in the next week, which is why I'm saying if somebody else has a better formed idea, I'm willing to help. But if you're saying you're going to sit down and figure out how this is going to go, then I'm going to go, yeah, okay, see you next month.
Well, you don't have to submit anything. We have until the end of March.
Okay. Where are we? At the beginning of February?
The Blog-A-Thon just starts today, and it's a 60-day Blog-A-Thon.
Okay. All right.
So you have 60 days.
I'm letting the information wash over me. What sticks will stick. I did write down microservices patterns, and you said something about a book, which is, something else to just read over and see if anything sticks, because, yeah, I'm basically a blank sheet with a big mouth.
Microservice patterns is a good book to read then, and, you can look at microservices.io and actually just read microservices.io, and you have just probably
Okay.
everything that's in microservice patterns. And if you wanted to take on, trying to help people map between monolithic and microservices is a really good place to start. And
Okay.
I would be very happy to, get on a call with you
Yeah.
and kind of work through what we're doing with Ortelius to try to map those concepts together so that you could pull the two. And I think you'd do a really great job on a video like that. I think it'd be an excellent.
Well,
I suppose I do understand monolith on some level, and I'm close enough to the new world to maybe be able to grasp some of these concepts. So, okay.
and looks like Karam just put out Building Microservices by Sam Newman. This is another microservices book. It's in the chat.
I'll have to find that one.
Okay, I wasn't actually paying any attention to the chat.
It's okay.
Why?
I'm going to put it in the document.
No, I'm asking, why am I seeing weird things about how to contact me? I can't even open the chat. Pop out, okay.
Yeah, because it's Zoom. Zoom does bizarre things at times.
Okay, so I was pretty inspired by your data privacy support. Is that for real? Because you're talking snack.
So that was a personal message to you.
What? Explain?
And Karam, have you thought about what you might write on?
So I was thinking about like visualization basically, and also like something related to microservices. Like I'm currently reading the Sam Newman book. So I was thinking like if I can provide my bit of experience in that blocks.
I just pulled it up in Thrift Books. I'm gonna buy it right now.
Is there somebody else with my name out there doing intelligent things? I need to know that now because I might get other people trying to ask me intelligent questions. I don't know.
That we can tell.
I don't know anything about data privacy support. Why would anybody think that?
You're getting that from Zoom?
Gonda, that was a personal message from my end. It was not related to like for everyone.
Okay, but it's related to data privacy?
Yeah, so like bit of off the topic, but like last week you had mentioned like you set up your own server and like you are managing you're controlling your own data. So just wanted to know more about that. So that's why I DM'd you.
Okay. I'm still confused. Okay, moving on. If it's not related, let's not take time.
Should not be.
Okay.
So really, that's all the focus we need to be focused on over the course of the next couple of weeks is getting the blog-a-thon started and getting some submissions out there so we can start getting them, getting some stuff posted.
Tracy, is there any update on our LinkedIn page for our organization?
There is a LinkedIn group out there for Ortelius. I didn't create a page though. I just created a group. Let me see. Here is the group.
What's the difference?
Here, let me share my screen.
So page is like a update feed kind of like for a particular organization. So like you have various companies, so we can follow them and stay updated to what they are doing. And group is basically you invite guys to a particular group. So that's the difference basically.
So here is the group. How did I get back to?
And everyone can access your the page for the organization, but the group is kind of closed. Like you have to request to join them, and then only you can know about the group.
Got it.
So I should just create a page? Just like
Yeah, like an organization page. Yeah.
Okay, I will do that.
Then another one on that list is we will need a Wikipedia entry for the Ortelius open source project, not just the map maker Ortelius. But I think we should wait on that until we get our Blog-A-Thon done, because we'll be able to pull some of the resources from the Blog-A-Thon and use it in the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I can help with that.
Wikipedia is an art to be able to get the submission to stick.
I would like to learn it.
I was not ever successful with getting my Wikipedia page approved.
But like I said, one of the things is we need some resources to link to. And I think that will help down after we get the Blog-A-Thon done. We can do those types of.
Yeah, so we have to have like
Tribute.
magazine articles and whatnot written about us, which we do have now since we made it to the CD Foundation. Yeah, if anybody wants to take on Wikipedia, go for it. It doesn't have to be much, but there is like, you have to have references and stuff, and I just never was, I don't know why I never was able to figure it out. I could never get it approved. So why don't we create issues for both of these things? The LinkedIn page, so I remember to do it, and the Wikipedia page. That's probably something, Siddharth, we can put in the Trello board.
Yes, I was about to say. To encouraging everyone to start using Trello board.
Yep.
Point one. Point two was, remember, I was waiting for your email, or probably you may be planning it this week, of the Twitter messages that the community members can post through the list. Remember, short messages on the Blog-A-Thon I shared across to you. You said you will share across to the community in the last call about the Blog-A-Thon.
Yes. I was going to send an email.
Yeah.
Of what to repost under our Twitter accounts. Did you do that, Tracy?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you got to do that today, is to send out via email what you'd like.
There's so many things that I've posted recently. I need to send out an email, but I believe that I posted the Blog-A-Thon. But let me make sure that I did that.
Well, you may have posted what we're trying to get at is not just you going through TweetDeck and sending out a tweet about it, but giving us the one-line or two-line phrase so we can all individually tweet about it.
God, Siddharth, you should have like pinged me last week.
Does that make sense now?
Yes, I do. It does. And I even think I saved it off in a document.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm so sorry.
She was in TweetDeck last week, so I figured that she did it, but
We have February. We have this week.
February से शुरू हो रहा है. पहले वो बोली February में क्लास शुरू हुई. मैंने कहा what does that mean? Like, will you be able to commit to the schedule? Will you be able to commit? Sorry.
Siddharth, would you do me a huge favor and send that to me again? I'm so sorry. I will do it today. I'll do it before I do the LinkedIn page.
Okay.
See, that's what happens when we don't have our Friday call.
anything else?
Like I had an idea for the blog, like if you and Tracy, Steve and Tracy, like can write about like where they went with open source or for the deploy hub, like Ortelius was made as open source, like the idea behind them and the aim behind that. Like if you can have a blog regarding that, I was thinking that would be a good idea.
Okay, we can do that.
I am going to post right, Siddharth, I found it. Never mind. I'm going to copy these tweets into the meeting minutes just so everybody sees them.
जिस आंटी के वो भेजती है
And then I will use it today. So there are I just stuck them in the, so anybody who wants to tweet about this, there's some suggested tweets all ready to go. Nice and clean. All I have to do is copy and paste them over and to ask the CDF to post them.
And all the links are good?
Yes, the last time I used were good. One more check.
Go.
No harm.
All right.
So I just want to double check. So I'm going to try and write something intelligent about domain-driven design and how Ortelius fits into that, right?
Yes.
Is that what I'm doing in my blogger?
Yes.
Phew. Okay, cool. Thanks. I'll give it a crack. Like 300 words, you said. That's all on the site here. Of course, the link.
Yeah, once you get going on the topic, you'll be at 3,000 words in no time.
Yeah, that's a big topic. And
But just Sasha will be looking for a publisher here soon.
And Sasha, there are already some blogs out there on that topic. Steve wrote one some time ago. It was kind of high level, but it was helpful. Let me see if I can find
so
it.
I will probably write from a non-academic point of view.
Well, I think we need to write it.
Is that a good start?
Yeah, I think it needs to be written from a practical point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do I understand? Okay.
So people can actually implement it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. I'll try and put it into words that us non-academic people can understand.
Yeah, we need to get it so people can wrap their heads around it. That's why Gandhi's ideas is a great idea too. If you look at if you go to,
I'm going to try and write it. I'll try and write about it from as I'm painting a picture, like from a more creative point of view, instead of an academic textbook point of view.
Yeah, let me share the one. Let me see if I can find the one that Steve wrote for Deploy Hub some time ago.
Don't worry, Steve, I won't copy paste, promise.
Well, you definitely can steal concepts out of it, that's for sure.
Well,
Now,
that's like one of the things in in a PowerPoint. You tell them one way, and then you tell it slightly different, and then you tell them again. So.
And Siddharth, do you have any ideas of what you want to write on?
No, I haven't thought of writing actually. I haven't thought of really writing something at the moment.
You did a lot of work around the ticketing system, or the issue system, right?
Sorry, you're talking to me, Sacha?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe something around the issue system, getting that set up. I don't know.
Okay. Could be.
Could be something.
Yeah.
You know, Siddharth, are you still working for me on a presentation for DevOps Online Summit around events? Event-driven CD?
I guess my network is too bad.
I think it's breaking up. We'll have to circle back around with them. He's just having sounds like some network issues.
Okay.
Yes, I'm working on that, Tracy.
So let's chat then, because I think we can, there's a blog in that around Ortelius and how we have a potential to create risk levels of a microservice and connect that to a declarative pipeline. So on Friday, we can talk about it.
Okay.
And it's really being able to assess the risk level or the quality level of a particular microservice and how that changes the project management of a particular microservice. All right. Well, we are 37 minutes. This was hopefully helpful for everybody. Just remember, don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or want help on anything. That's what we're here to do.
And grab those tweets that are in the doc and go ahead and get those out today, because it talks about starting today. So.
And I'll be sure and get that stuff out today as well. For Siddharth, he did the work and I kept forgetting about it. Because I'm terrible at that. All right, everybody. Thank you. We will talk to you everybody on the architecture call on Thursday.
See you again, everybody. Take care.